Y'all, I hate complaining. And today's been a doozy, but you're not going to see me complaining about it because guess what? Complaining doesn't get you anywhere, all right? It affects you in a negative way and it affects everyone around you in a negative way. We're going to get into it on how you can enhance your life by not complaining. First thing I wanted to say, fresh out of the shower. Second thing I wanted to say, might have went a little bit too hard on design in the last video about ego death. I don't dislike the field of design. I was just saying, I think at the end of the video, I corrected it by being like committing ego death in regards to feeling boxed in on what I want to do with my life. But the field of design is not to blame for this. I still like design. Big things coming is all I'm going to say. Cats are meowing. Hopefully he doesn't bite my leg. First off, as I said, I hate complaining. I have my own issues. I don't want to hear yours. The stuff that you focus on in your life, it'll continue to reappear, right? If you complain about the tiny things in your life a lot, you're going to be hit with tiny little annoying things a lot, right? Sometimes you just got to accept what's happening to you and move on. And I'm, of course, working on this. I would say nobody's perfect at this, right? Everyone's going to complain a little about something. I definitely crash out every now and then. However, I'd say compared to even just a few years ago, it's one of the greater skills I've improved upon. I think I'm a lot more chill, a lot more awesome because of this, right? But mainly, I feel you can like feel the aura, right? When people are complaining around you and you're not complaining, it's like you can feel this this feeling of negativity surrounding your bubble, right? And if you don't fall into this complaining, you will protect yourself from these negative thoughts. All right, let's move on. I think it's mostly impossible to not complain, as I said. But significantly reducing it will make a huge difference in your life. People in my life had said these exact words over the last couple of years that I've been working on this, right? Why don't you complain more? That was annoying. Why didn't you complain about it? Obviously, if something's truly bothering you, right, speak up about it. But complaining is just acknowledging to the world that you don't like something and you're not going to take any action to fix it. Most people complaining, they just complain to complain, and then they don't do anything about it, and then they keep complaining about it. And then sometimes complaining can turn into ruminating, right? So you're complaining about something small that happened, complaining about it some more, complaining about it some more. Next thing you know, you're thinking about it too much. Now you've just spent your whole day complaining and ruminating on your complaint. What's that got you? Nothing. You took no action. The biggest part is that complaining's annoying. I'm going to say it. Look, have you ever been eating with people at lunch, some coworkers maybe, just sipping some coffee one-on-one, and one by one, everybody just starts complaining about their minor inconveniences. It's fine maybe one time, or maybe you and your friends enjoy that kind of thing, or you like to vent, but there's a time and a place with random acquaintances, especially people maybe at work talking about work, complaining about work on your break or something. I can't do it. Unless there's something like really deep down to complain about, but a minor inconvenience that's like nothing burger, can it? Like if something just drops on the floor, doesn't even make a mess, don't crash out about it. Say, oh, rats. I dropped something. Move on. Because some days, this has happened to me. You just got to accept it, right? I'm trying to think of what day it was. Honestly, today's one of those days, but maybe like last week at one point. You wake up in the morning. Some days you wake up in the morning and you just sit there and realize today's going to be one of those days. Happened to me back in high school, right? That's actually a better one to talk about. Woke up in high school, I was in a bad mood immediately, right? This is so long ago, years ago, probably honestly almost a decade ago at this point. He's talking about it too. Oh, Basically, I woke up, I was in a bad mood, right? Then I cooked my breakfast, burned my bagel, drop it on the floor, and I said, and I quote, "Today's gonna be a bad day," as I did that. 30 minutes later, it was a cold, frosty day. I wrecked my car. Windows fogging up, tried to pull over, crashed my car. Doesn't matter. We've been there, done that. But let's just say it was a bad day. Might have gotten a second crash later that afternoon. Not my fault. But things happen, right? That's just one of those things. That day specifically was a bad day. Some days you wake up, it's a minor inconvenience, and you just got to accept it and move on. Bad things will keep happening. Maybe your car gets towed. You just got to be like, okay, that kind of sucks bad. But honestly, a lot of complaints, like these were two bad examples, okay? Crashing your car, getting your car towed, honestly, are not, those you can complain about. They suck, all right? But when it's something like last night, for example, right? We accidentally washed a shirt that was red with some white stuff turned pink. Could have been worse. Could have been clothes I actually cared about in that load. But I didn't complain about it. It's just clothes. Who cares? Move on. No point in ruminating about it. It's worse when you're complaining about somebody else, right? Behind their back. And then you're not doing anything about it and you're being fake to their face. This is honestly the worst part about it. Talking trash about people you're cozying up to. Maybe it's like a coworker or something, and you're being nice to them in person, but then immediately when you leave, you start talking trash. In my head, if you're doing this, you're talking trash about me, you're talking trash about everybody around you, no trust. And where are we getting from all this, right? Well, I'm getting a headache about it, right? I think foregoing your complaining, powerful skill to have. And honestly, you'll be waves ahead of others because everybody complains. Especially in today's world with all these minor inconveniences. Things might not be the best right now for some people, for a lot of people, most people. But and maybe complaining is just a way to cope about it. But if you instead stop complaining and focus on positives, focus on gratitude, those things, they will come in your life. I promise you this. If you just complain about it, all you're going to get is more issues, more complaints. Venting when you are with somebody that you trust can be healthy, especially, this is the important part, especially if you can come up with solutions to the complaint, right? Many people, they do a vent session, then they're both just complaining by the end of it, and then they're done. Complaining ain't that. You need solutions, all right? Complaining about minor inconveniences that are going to happen no matter what, and you aren't going to do anything about it anyway. It's a waste of mental energy and my energy as the listener. You're wasting my energy talking about your issues that I don't care about and you shouldn't care about either. In these last few years of self-improvement in my life, being grateful for my experiences is a skill that I've been working on. I've mentioned this previously, but you gotta thank the world, thank God, thank the divine for the good, the bad, and the ugly, because that's just life. And it'll be a lot better just accepting when bad things happen than ruminating and especially complaining about them. I'm sorry for what has happened to you. Potentially I'm not sorry about it, but you gotta move on. Maybe that's what you say to somebody who's complaining to you. I'm sorry that happened to you. Move on. Look, I've said this a billion times at this point. More than half of the humans in history have struggled more than you, and that's just a fact. Your problems are not that big. Some of you might be going hungry. I hope you find some food. Bad things happen to people. You just got to accept it, right? And working through, how you work through and accept these bad things happening to you. Look at that. Let me restart that. How you work through and accept these issues will make you better. It's how you work through it that shows your true strength, right? Complaining about it won't. It just won't. That's honestly all I have to say about that. I'll keep it short and sweet with the complaints. Basically, Stop complaining unless you're going to take action. If you do take action, you will show resolve. You will grow as a person. Everything will be better. Stop complaining about it. Accept your situation. Be grateful. Move on. Now, interests. What have we been up to, people? Little bit of space action going on this week. Solar eclipse. Meteor shower. When they were saying we might lose gravity for 7 seconds. Didn't happen. What else? Planets were all in the sky at one point in the morning. Cloudy. Lots of storms. Been wet. Lots of wind. Lots of damage, right? What else? What else we've been doing? Let me think. I guess one other thing. Honestly, it's been a slow week for the interest, right? I'll talk about some books in a second, because that's something we can quickly talk about. But one other thing I'll mention is, I've talked about him before. I think his name is Aiden Robbins on YouTube. He makes these crazy nature videos. I've been watching just a good amount of those videos when I have some time, because they're beautifully shot, lots of history behind them. Some of them recently have been about protecting the I forget the exact word, but like the not drivable areas of the parks around the world, and how they're trying to get rid of some of those not drivable areas, which will cause damage to a lot of communities. It will cause a lot of damage to the biological communities within those zones, right? So check those videos out. They're always beautifully shot. As I said, lots of fun information. Books I've been reading. Just finished Stoner by John Williams. I think it's by John Williams. Good book. A lot of people have said that this book is fantastic. It's awesome. Some people have rated it 5 stars. I've seen even some people say 6 out of 5 stars on Book Talk, right? Not that I'm on Book Talk anymore. Back when I was going to read it, it was on there. Anyway, I thought it was good. I'd probably say 4 out of 5 for me. I'm not really a harsh critic either. I thought it was a good book. It did take me a while, and it's not that long of a book, but it is just, as I expected going into it, a story about a man's life. Honestly, the ending was almost better than I thought it would be, and I was definitely interested in his story, and it really puts things into perspective about, your entire life. So I thought that was good. Read it. I recommend it. My cat just bit the front page off, so that was great. Next, I've been reading Misery by Stephen King. First Stephen King book. The writing, style. I keep, flipping genres and authors and stuff when I'm reading these books that are, so different, to where it's, jarring every time you read a new book. And just the writing style of Misery compared to that John Williams book, compared to Golden Sun or Morning Star, the Red Rising trilogy, great series, compared to Hyperion, all so different, right? So Misery's been fun to read because it is it's been pretty easy read, and it starts off and it's very interesting. You don't know what's going to happen next. Kind of crazy. The chapters, they be flying. There's 3 chapters on one page. It's I'm on chapter 26, but I'm on page 50. Not that even matters at all. But interested in that book. I've been enjoying reading it. Next book, though, I've been trying to think about what I want to read. I've been really interested in reading the second Way of Kings book. I think that might have to be next, because I've now pretty much caught up on most of the books that I've bought. I've finally gone through and read all of them, so I think it's time to either read, I think it's Winds of Truth maybe, or In Dominion maybe, the Hyperion, After Fall of Hyperion, the 3rd book in that. I've been wanting to read some sci-fi and fantasy again after taking a break with Stoner and Misery and whatnot, so anyway, long-winded explanation of what I've been reading. Let me know what you've been reading. Let me know if you complain. Give me your thoughts about complaining. Maybe you have some justification for why you complain. I'm not gonna buy it, right? Stop complaining. Look at this guy. Anyway, that's all I got today. Last thing. Thank you for the phenomenal support, right? We've been getting over like 50 views on the last couple of videos, couple likes. I think we got 5 subs now. 5 subs. That's nuts. That's gnarly. I guess another thing, so thank you for that. I appreciate you watching it, even if the average watch time is like 2 minutes in the video. That's progress. That's progress. I guess the thumbnails, they've been working, because honestly, it was the moment I started making thumbnails that started happening. So make your thumbnails, y'all. Try to find catchy titles. That's my tips for you right now. We'll see how we keep growing. Oh, this is road to 4,000 watch hours before the monetization hits 8,000 in February. We're working hard at that. I think we're about 8 hours in, so progress, huge progress. And I think that's about it. Thank you for watching. Stop complaining. I need some water. Enjoy your evening. Your boy, he's out of here. Peace out.